Can you dig it?
I can dig it because it's a Bears Monday. Wish it was a Bears victory Monday, but it's still a Bears Monday. So,
Me too,
welcome
buddy.
back to Windy City Digits. That's Vic. I'm Carl.
Blue Monday, buddy.
So it's basically 24 hours after the, I don't know what you want to call it, the football game up in Lambeau.
Yeah.
Time to kind of digest and kind of take inventory of what happened up there. So,
I already digested it.
So what's your just your initial thoughts, real quick?
My initial thoughts is it reminded me. It didn't really remind me that. I was pumped. I was pumped when it was 7-3.
I think every Bears fan was.
Okay, so
you and I were going back and forth texting on that.
I was pumped at the field goal. I was like, good stop, not bad. They didn't score, and then we came back and we hit them hard. We were like, bam, and then kind of downhill for a while after that.
Yeah, the second quarter defensively was a mess. 21 straight points and I think we ran 6 plays, maybe 9 plays the whole third quarter.
Yeah, it was not good, man. It just was not good.
No. So a couple things we want to kind of go over today. You and I were talking about earlier. First thing we're going to talk about is the defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can't stop the run. They could not stop the run at all last night.
Yeah, I was going to put some stats up here while you do that.
Since we are Windy City Digits, it's probably a good thing for us to put up some numbers.
So game 27-10. Let's see what we got here. I can blow this up. Whoa, dude. All right, total yards. Not looking good there. Look at those, but look at the passing yard difference. Yeah. See, we were arguing back and forth a little bit about the rushing. Look at the rushing. Not bad. I mean, our for us, that is.
Mm-hmm.
Good rushing, but our rushing D was weak.
Well, look, I think that rushing yard stat is a little deceiving because Green Bay used that to totally control the clock in the second quarter.
Oh man, I don't know. They were running it down our throats for a lot of the time. I mean,
no, but I mean the second quarter is when they scored those 21 straight points, and we couldn't stay on the field.
No, you're absolutely right. I don't know if on here has the clock time.
Time of possession.
Go down. Time of possession. Yeah. I'm just gonna. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at the disparity. Can you see that on your screen?
Yeah, and I wish there was a breakdown of the second quarter. That's really where, because I think we ran literally 9 offensive plays the entire second quarter. We were 3 and outs in the second quarter, and most of those were passing plays, so the time possession wasn't very long.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the other part of it, I would say on the defensive side here is that I think Gordon and who was the other guy? Sorry, I'm trying to
Brisker.
I think they were just amped up because they were overplaying everything. They were too aggressive. They weren't setting the edge. They kept getting sucked down inside. It seemed like Brisker just couldn't keep his footing all night. He was, sliding.
Brisker, you thought Brisker? I thought Gordon had a worse game than Brisker.
I'm just saying both of them really. I mean, both of them really just. I think they were too amped up. They were.
And no one's thrown at Jalen Johnson. Did you hear about that? Like in the last 2 weeks, no one is thrown towards his man.
No, because they know they can pick on the rookies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think, look, on the positive side, well, let's see what happens with them this week, right? They kind of had the best of both worlds. They went against the guy that was a first-time starter, basically, for all intents and purposes, and Trey Lance. And moment of silence for Trey Lance's season, by the way, broken ankle, out for the year.
That's terrible, man.
And then they went up against a guy that's got a gazillion starts, over 400 something touchdowns. So, we'll see how they do this week and see how they kind of fare. But I just think the moment was a little bit too big for them.
So what did you think about the linebacker play for the Bears?
I thought it was decent. I thought sometimes they got blocked out when the defensive line, um, were the offensive line of the Green Bay Packers was getting the second level, which means that our defensive line really wasn't holding their own. I mean, they did get quite a few sacks, right?
They got 3
Especially
sacks.
and then that was basically in the first half. I don't think we really got anything going in the second half, but
Yeah, I think you're right. Gibson and Quinn both, I think, in the first half. I think you're
yeah, so
right.
I don't think they really got anything going in the third. So I just think that under the circumstances and the way the game was going, they were getting blocked on the second level, and that's why they were getting so many runs deep because.
And a lot of missed tackles, man.
Yeah, yeah, and again, it seemed like I don't know if we didn't have the right cleats on or whatever the case
I
was, but it seemed like
agree.
we were slipping all over the place.
Aaron Jones was making amazing cuts, quick cuts, and he was juking our tackles pretty easily.
Look, and I think part of that again is that we were overplaying everything. Like we kind of assumed they were going to make a run outside and then he'd make a jump cut inside and he'd get like 8, 9, 10, 12 yards. Right.
Eberflus did talk about that. That was going to be his number one priority this week was run defense. He goes, we've got to do better.
Yeah.
Because did you really? Yeah, they're going to have growing pains and all, but our Bears defense was really what I was counting on. I was counting on our Bears defense to be average to better.
Well, look, I'll say this, right? In the first quarter, they held their own, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It looked like in the second quarter, Green Bay made the adjustment and Chicago didn't. It's almost like the Bears are waiting to get into halftime to make the adjustments. Now, they did play better in the second half.
They did.
But it just seemed like in the second quarter, and I don't know if it was more Williams or Eberflus, but it just seemed like they didn't make a whole lot of adjustments in the second quarter. And I think they just thought like, this is going to work. This is going to work. Penalties hurt us. You and I were texting about that.
That's what I was going to say next. Yeah. The penalties were terrible. It put us at a big disadvantage when we really needed to be on the field more. And also when Rodgers had like 3rd and 22, their conversions were pretty darn good for Packers. I think they were 6 of 7 on 3rd down conversions.
And I think that was mostly in the second quarter because it just seemed like we just couldn't get off the field.
Correct.
In the second quarter.
Yeah.
All
right, what's our next topic, buddy?
Well, let's kind of transition into this one, right? You talked about Eberflus a second ago, right? I don't know. I just think that Getsy was great in the first quarter. And then it seemed like in the second quarter, he was too stubborn to try to stay with the run game. I know you showed me a stat.
You say that, but they still were running the ball when you said that.
You can't look at you texted me like at that point in the second quarter, they ran 11 rushes and 7 passes. You can't look at that number.
Some of it was Justin Fields running for his life.
And I think there was like, especially in the 3 and outs, like they were trying 3 pass plays in a row or they tried to play action. They kind of went away from it,
I think you overestimate that, honestly.
They said it on the broadcast last night. Even Collinsworth said it last night. It's like, I don't get why they went away from the run game.
I heard it. I heard Collinsworth say that, but then when you're watching other Bears analysts, they're like, what's Collinsworth talking about? They just got stuffed twice on the run for like negative yardage. So I don't know. I mean, it did kind of look like that they were trying to throw the ball, which they need to do too.
If nothing else, the clock runs and you're on the field even 30, 45 seconds longer to give your defense a little bit of break. When you're throwing 3 pass plays in a row and they're all incomplete, or you're barely getting anything or not even getting anything at all, you might as well run the ball because at least the clock's going to run.
You can't win throwing the ball 11 times though.
Look, the one drive they had in the third quarter where they, that was the Justin Fields goal line stance. Right? Yeah, they didn't throw one pass in that entire drive. That whole thing was all rushes.
I get it, but probably the Packers changed their defense a little bit, thinking that the Bears would pass the ball.
And that's fine, right? But I mean, when you say that, you can't win
You
running 11
can't.
times,
You
you're,
can't.
and most times I would totally agree with you. But if they were moving the ball, they were in that third quarter. Look, if they would have scored that touchdown and gotten to within 7
I
points,
know it would have been a game.
and well, not only that, but who knows what would have happened then? Like, do you stick with the run game at that point because it's working, right? There was plenty of
Yeah.
time still, right?
hmm
So you'll never know. We'll never
Well,
know
no,
per
Justin
se.
Fields said. I mean, there were questions to Justin Fields in the post conference, and he basically said this was our game plan all along, was to run the ball, because people were giving him a hard time, like, why aren't you throwing the ball? Where's Mooney?
Yeah. Well, look,
You know,
I guess the whole thing is that the coaching has got to be better, right? We can't wait till halftime to make adjustments. We got to be able to make adjustments on the
no,
fly,
and that
right?
call to shotgun him at the, I don't know, half-yard line.
Uh-huh.
I think most people thought that was a dumb call. Not
It's a
everyone.
it's a dumb call because it didn't work. If it would have
Correct, but
worked,
yeah, of course, we would have said that was genius. Gave
right,
him time to read the hole, but
right.
but he wasn't backing down Eberflus at all in his press conference. He literally said that was the play that we wanted. That's what we called. He kind of sounded a little stubborn. They talked to him about offense. He goes, "That's not necessarily my forte. I'm more of a defensive guy." That worried me.
Why?
Why does that? Why? That was the one reason why I didn't really want a defensive-minded coach. I wanted an offensive-minded coach. The Bears have had enough defensive coaches. I wanted somebody who was going to be able to try and work with Fields and understand the offense a little bit better than someone like that who says, "Ask me something about defense."
Look, I think that's why you brought in Getsy.
Well, of course, that's why you brought in Getsy, but I mean, he's new at the offensive coordinating role too.
Well, look, bottom line is all the way around, and even Eberflus said it. They've all got to be better, right?
Yep,
Alvin Williams has got to
absolutely.
be better. Eberflus has to be better, and Getsy has to be better. So, speaking of
Yeah.
Getsy, right? You and I were talking about this a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing we're going to talk about today is where is 11-85?
I don't know. I got a book out. I'm looking for him
Like an
in a
APB.
mixture of all the best wide receivers and tight ends out there. I'm looking for him. I don't see him.
I mean, even Allen Robinson caught 2 touchdown passes this week. They found him in LA. There was a sighting with him, right?
I think it was only one.
Look, I know they tried to go to Mooney early, and he
They
got
did.
stuffed behind the line.
Dude,
right?
that pass was like 10 yards past Mooney too.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know what the deal is with Getsy and the play calling, and I'm not exactly sure why we're not targeting or running plays specifically designed for those guys more.
Well, it appears to me that, I mean, they're packing the line with Komet and Griffin, and they're not really getting out on many routes at all. I mean, that's what it appears to be. And I mean, if they were concentrating on the run, they were just used in run packages. At least this game. I don't know about last game.
Well, bottom line is they're not getting the ball. They're not targeted. Let's put it that way. Bottom line, whatever the case is.
No, I mean, I agree, but like it's kind of shocking. I mean, Mooney was 1,000-yard receiver, and he can't get open.
It's not a matter of can he not get open. It's like
Well,
part
it
of it
could
is
be. That's what some of the analysts are saying, that the Bears receivers are not getting open for Justin Field. It's not just about Justin Field.
Yeah, look, there's a lot to it, right? I mean, he's got to be blocked. He's got to be able to drop back. He's got to be able to spot the guy, right? And the guys have to get open. So there's a lot of things that come into it, right? But
Yep.
you got to run simple plays designed so that you can get them ball out into space, even just some touches. And once they get some touches and once they get some catches, it kind of opens it up, right? I mean, Randall Cobb.
Yeah, you would think it would open your whole offense up. Yeah. Randall Cobb was what?
Randall Cobb, like basically, I don't think he was targeted much in the first week, right? He caught like 1 or 2 passes. Next thing you know, like They seem to be calling his name every other play.
They did.
Same thing with Lazard last night too.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be out of the game at one point. It
You
wouldn't have
know?
mattered. Aaron Jones was a
So-
beast, and we
so-
were not.
I guess the biggest thing I want to see. So let me ask you
Yeah,
this.
what do you want to see?
I think I want to see improvement, right? This is what Eberflus is preaching, right? You got to be
Mhm.
better than the week before, right?
God, absolutely.
And it's not just the players this week; it's the coaches. The coaches have to be better this week.
Mhm.
I think in the first quarter they had a solid game plan, right? And then the second quarter, it seemed like Green Bay made the adjustment and we didn't. Like we were stubborn and sticking with the game plan that we had, and like it's going to work. It's going to work. And then let's wait till halftime and make the adjustments. Okay, some of the adjustments they made at halftime worked.
Defensively, you mean? Because offensively, according to you, we didn't stick to the plan. We didn't keep running the ball.
Well, look, that kind of proved itself out in the second half.
You mean that they went back to it?
They went back to the running game, right? And had they scored on that play, and we're down by 7 points.
It's a ball game again. Yep.
Yeah, and who knows from that point, but I think they just can't wait until halftime to make adjustments. Now, look, but the other thing we talked about, look, this is going to be part of the growing pains that we see during the year. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs during this first year. You just hope that each week is a little bit better and we're not making the same mistakes every week. Like I'm hoping next week, the rookies don't get burned. They don't get sucked in, that they're staying home and making the plays. Brisker and Gordon are making the plays they need to be playing. And hopefully they get some new shoes this week where they can actually keep their feet and aren't slipping and sliding all over the place.
Slip, sliding away.
What do you want to see next week?
Slip, slide. Less penalties.
Okay.
I mean, that would help us marginally, but it was a drastic difference from the first game where I think the 49ers had like 9 penalties. So
correct.
That would have helped us maybe stay on the field, maybe get another 1 or 2 first downs, possibly. Yeah. One, that's it. And the second one we already talked about, our rush defense was terrible, and Houston is going to want to run the ball. So that kind of makes me nervous. I was banking on this next win for the Bears against Houston. I'm iffy on it. I'm iffy on that win.
Why?
Because I'm not as confident as I was in our defense. I was more confident about our defense coming into the season completely, and this last game kind of ruined it. I'm not confident with the defense right now. After one game. I know it's only one game, but I'm not.
I think Bears fans completely overreact after each game. Right? I mean, it's one game.
You see, yeah.
It's one game.
But you were all like crazy about Eberflus, and
look.
Now you're questioning. I mean, it's the same thing.
I'm not questioning anything. Like, I still think that we're still going to be.
They need to do better, right? Yeah,
look, they need to do better. But I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up on this defense. Like, my confidence in this defense it's not shot. Let's put it that way.
I didn't say it was shot. I'd question it.
I don't question that defense at all.
That was you should. That was terrible run defense, man. Look, two weeks in a row, actually, our rush defense sucked. It's like they've given up 200 yards rushing in 2 games. I mean, in 2 consecutive games.
Well,
that's not good. That's not good.
The first game, again, like we've talked about, stats kind of go out the window the first game because
of the weather.
Because of the weather. You can't. You can't.
We didn't rush 200 yards against them, though.
We didn't try to rush 200 yards.
I'm just giving you the digits.
And I'm telling you,
You're telling me my digits are not.
I'm telling you how I'm reading that data.
Okay, coach.
I still have full confidence in this team.
Bears 120, Texans 2.
Or in case of, unless you're Iowa, then you do 7 the hard way. 2 safeties and a field goal. Sorry, I had to get that shot in. I had to get the shot in Iowa.
Scored a couple of touchdowns. So
yeah. So let's hear what you guys think. What you guys thought of the Bears game? Now it's been like 24 hours removed, and you've got a chance to kind of look at some tape and some of the data. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. We appreciate everyone's been tuning into the channel and kind of checking us out. If you haven't had a chance to hit the like, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified in future episodes. Hopefully we'll be back on Wednesday for another College Wednesday. If you haven't joined us yet for that, those were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So we'll hopefully this is a better week. So we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Love.
And digits.